Hello, and welcome to Bill's History and Wargame World, where we're about to play Victoria Cross 2 by Worthington Games in 54mm scale. That's about all I have to say about it. I've done 2 videos already, and we're just going to get to playing. So I hope you enjoy this video, and let's see what's going to happen next. All right, well, the first thing we have in our sequence of play is Major Reynolds would heal a couple dead figures that are wounded. But we don't have anything wounded yet, so we're going to roll dice for movement. And we're using my friend Peter's dice that he gave to me. And the British will be moving 8 inches. Now, I'm going to pause the camera, move my British troops around, come back to you. And that was a suggestion by several of you that watch my YouTube channel. Well, welcome back. Well, I've moved some British troops around for their 8 inches of movement. Our figures on the roofs, my roofs don't come off of my storehouse and my hospital. So I have little cardboard trays. They hold a maximum of 6 figures per building, and they're loopholes. We're not doing any roof climbing in my game. It's Bill's World. All right, let's roll the dice for the Zulus. And of course, we're using the Peter styrofoam dice. Now the Zulus roll 3 dice, and they pick 2. So the Zulus move 11 inches. And let's get down here where you can see where I rolled. Sorry about that, everyone. And I wish I had some people playing here tonight, but as of right now, we're still not having people over to visit. So we're doing everything through YouTube. I'm going to pause the camera and go ahead and move these Zulus so you won't be bored. Okay, welcome back, everyone. I moved all the Zulus 11 inches. So they did not have enough movement to engage other than at the one store, the hospital one wall section. I'll move the camera and show you where that is, and we're right now at the British fire phase, so we're going to go ahead and resolve that. Put you on pause. We're going to do British firing, and then the Zulu snipers up on the ridge. So rather than me roll all these dice and remove the dead, I'm going to just go ahead and resolve that and come back to you. All right, welcome back. We have fired all of the British infantry. The Zulus lost. I'm going to pause the camera and show you what the Zulus lost. All right, this is our Zulu loss. 10, 20, 30. They lost 41 Zulus in the British firing. When they lose 120 figures, the wave stops, reforms, and charges again with another 150 Zulus. So, you know, we're not quite halfway there yet. All right, this is where my Zulus on the ridge are firing down into the courtyard area. And yes, the ridge is in the wrong spot. We covered that before. We have 1-6, and that's all it takes. Well, 1 British soldier has died. It's our first casualty. Wow, we are now in our melee phase. And the melee phase is pretty simple. This is the only area where we have British soldiers that were fighting Zulus. All right, our 4 Zulus, 1, 2, 3, 4 attacks. Now the Zulus hit on the melee bags on a 5 or a 6, unless it's a great redoubt. So here we go. And sort of have the tray there. Oh, 2 die. Let's see. 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 acid guys actually go into him. However, I'm not going to do the randomization. I'll be here all night. So the Zulus just scored 2 hits, and we'll take off one of the commissary fellas. Now the Zulus cannot move across at this point. Now the British have to fill in that gap. So in Bill's world, that figure's covering there. This figure's covering there. So the Zulus need to kill off one or the other to have a gap to move through. And it costs 3 inches to go over melee backs. Alright, I'm going to set up the camera. On our sequence of play, the only thing left to do is to see if there's a fire. Now, I wrote the rules, and I'm going to pivot the camera up and pause it here. Okay, these rules are a mix from what I've taken from Worthington and mine, and I'm a terrible Zulu commander. You know what I forgot to do is I forgot to set a couple Zulus next to this building and next to that building. So I don't have any Zulus to set fire. However, you would need a 12 for each building, and we didn't make it anyhow. So my mess up wouldn't have mattered. All right, that's one complete turn. Well, we have the camera set back up over here, and we're going to roll our 2d6 for the British movement. They rolled snake eyes, so they're unmotivated, and they need 3 inches across a melee back themselves. So there is going to be no hopping across walls in this phase. Rather than you get extremely bored, I'm going to go ahead and move my figures and then come back to you. Welcome back, everyone. Well, I moved my Brits, and 2 inches didn't get much. I got a pretty good line going now. And I'm going to move the camera angle for you so you can see from the other end. So at this side, this is where we're at. The Great Redoubt's already been built. I could have had a rule of them building it, and I have a really good double line of British volley fire to go off there. So we need to kill off about 70 more Zulus, and then the second wave will come. Alright, I'm going to pause the camera and move the Zulus. Alright, well, let's see what happens. The Zulus roll 3 Peter dice, and we have a leaner, so we'll re-roll this one. And that's a 5. 5 and a 3 would be 8. Alright, my Zulus are going to move 8 inches. Now, as you can see, 8 inches is going to put just about everybody in hand-to-hand combat. So this turn will be very interesting to see how it goes. Alright, let's pause the camera here. And I'm going to go ahead and move these Zulus. Alright, welcome back. I have moved Zulus. You know, I had a lot of different suggestions about rolling dice and boring people. So I'm going to continue with the firing and stuff off camera. So I'm going to go ahead and have these British fire. Hopefully they're going to do good on 4, 5, or 6s. And see what happens. And then the Zulus will fire their muskets, and then hand-to-hand combat. I'll come back to you after we see how we did on taking out the Zulus. The British have to survive 3 waves. This is just the first one. Welcome back. I had a lot of British firing that turn, and a lot of good rolls, a lot of bad rolls. The Zulus lost. We're at 83 dead Zulus. We need to get to 120 for them to fall back and reform. Our Zulus on the mountain, on the ridge, they get to fire now. And they scored 2 6s. So, I'll remove 2 Zulus. 2 Brits, sorry. We'll take them from here. Okay, well, We'll scan the field a little bit. Frederick Sheese and down here at the hospital, they did really well. We do have Zulus next to buildings, so after the Zulu melee phase, we're going to have to check for the hospital and the storehouse going up in fire. Alright, going to pause it here. Well, welcome back. I'm going to do the melee rolls for the Zulus. As you can actually see me removing the Brits. Hopefully I'll go fast enough, it won't be boring for you. Alright, these two, 1 dies. 5 or 6 kills. These 3, we lost 1. These 3, we lost all 3 of them. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 Brits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They only have 7 Zulus. See what happens. We lost 3. Coming down the line, and I'll collect the dead after the video shoot here. Okay, we're going to do 6, 5 there. No kills. And we're going to do 8 there. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not a hit. We lost 3 Brits here. Okay. So, we have lost some British soldiers on that side. I'm going to pause the camera, hit the other side. Alright. Welcome over here on this side of the table. We have 3. Almost took two Zulus. We have 3. We got attacks there. We lost 2 more Brits there. And up here, nothing. And that's it. Alright, let's pause the camera. Okay, where I'm at the turn is the Zulus are going to roll to see if they can catch either building on fire. They need snake eyes for each building. So, here's the first roll. Nothing. And the next one is nothing. Wow. Alright, welcome back. We're done with this current turn. The British lost 14 figures that time. They're going to now go ahead and undo their movement. And hopefully we're going into turn 3 of wave 1. Okay, everybody. We're going to roll for the British movement phase. They rolled good this time. We rolled a 6 and a 2. So they have 8 inches. So that's enough to get people to where I need to get them to. Pause the camera and move it in a new angle. Alright, I'm going to let the video go a little bit for the movement. Plenty of movement to go 8 inches. He hops up in here, there. We've filled in this whole gap. We're solid here. We're in really good shape. Now I'm going to check on this other side here. I'm going to pause the camera so you won't get bored. Alright, I have my British moved around a bit. I know the Zulus have to cross 3 inches across the melee bag. I have everything covered. Where I don't have them covered, I know the Zulus can't reach in one turn. So I actually have some bag areas not being covered. I also have formed a new flying column under Sergeant Windwidge. And their mission is to zip over there and help that at that point. Now, I'm going to go ahead and move our Zulus. I'll turn the camera off, pause it, and I'm hoping if the British can knock out 50 more Zulus, they survived wave 1. All right, let's see how the Zulus do for movement. For those of you that like to see the dice thrown out, there's a 5 and a 1 and a 1. While the Zulus, I guess because of the casualties they've taken, they're only going to move 6 inches this turn, which isn't very good since it costs 3 to cross the melee bag anyhow. Not that they have any areas they can really penetrate. So come back to me in a minute. I'm going to pause the camera and go ahead and move these Zulus 6 inches. Hey, welcome back to Bill's History and Wargame World. Also, please subscribe. So, I have moved all my Zulus, and yeah, I think if the British roll well here in the fire combat, they will break the Zulus' morale. So, I'm going to go ahead and pause the camera, go ahead and do all the British firing, and then we'll come back. Well, welcome back. The British have done fantastic. They have really did well in the die rolls. The Zulu morale will be broken at the end of this fire phase or stabbing phase. The Zulus up on the hill have to roll, and that's 6 dice. Oh my gosh, we rolled 3 hits. 3 hits from in the courtyard from sniper fire. Seems a little effective today. 16% chance. And by the way, I could have had 1 figure for every figure I allocated to fire on the ridge would stop 1 figure from firing. So I could have actually had 6 figures fire up there and nullified that Zulu sniper fire. I never really had it be this effective before. Alright, I'm going to pause the camera and resolve the last of the hand-to-hand combat, and then the Zulus are going to withdraw because they have sustained 80% casualties in the first wave. I'll come back to you and see how the British do. Alright, we have 2 things left to do to end out our the Zulus on the far left aren't really there. They're all the Zulus will reform. The British will be able to set up and prepare for wave 2. They can set up any way they want. I have a lot of rearranging. So, I got to check for fire. The storehouse, I rolled 4s. And, oh my god, oops. We rode the box cars, and earlier I said it was snake eyes. It turns out it's box cars that causes a fire. So the hospital is now on fire, and so I gotta flame that. I'll do that now. Those figures immediately jump off the roof and then the building. Okay, so the hospital's on fire. We still get 2. We get 4 figures back. So 4 figures from our dead pile. We're only slight wounded. We throw them in the pile. Alright, if I lose both buildings, he only can fix 1 person a turn. And I also forgot I have a rule for that water cart. Any figure within 6 inches gets a +1 to hit. Oh well, I forgot. So, this is the end of wave 2, or wave 1. I'm going to end this video and then do wave 2 video. I hope you'll consider watching wave 2 video. When I come back to you, you'll see this entirely, the British will be all set up in a new formations. I'm not sure if I'll hold the whole perimeter or cut back. Leave your comments. I might have it played though by the time you see this first one. Well, that's about it for the first wave of Rorke's Drift. I hope you come back for wave 2, and they have to survive 3 waves. Thank you. Stay safe. Be kind. Be courteous. And please subscribe. Oh, by the way, Bromhead took a hit. He has a red pipe cleaner wrapped around his neck.